Didn't know my butt was that large. It is not that way. I said this Mother's Day. Like, ouch, that'd be awful. Pull it out of your hands with my butt. It's just terrible. Good morning, everybody. Secretary, please call the roll.
Trustee Jones.
Here.
Trustee Mailer.
Here.
Trustee O'Malley.
We have a quorum and I call the meeting to order. The minutes for the September 20th, 2024 Executive Committee meeting were circulated in advance. Are there any corrections or additions in the minutes? Hearing none, I move to approve the minutes as written. Is there a second? Second. Do we have an approval and a second? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Say nay. The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. Before we take up action items, President Licari has asked to step out of the meeting. Passing the gavel to Vice Chairman O'Malley for the following three action items.
Thanks, Chairman Jenkins. The first item on the agenda is a review of the President's performance evaluation and consideration for an incentive for fiscal year 24-25, the current fiscal year. Chairman Jenkins will provide some information about this item.
Before we discuss the evaluation of the university president, I would like to provide an overview of the basis of which the evaluation has been conducted. The process involves a comprehensive review of president's performance, considering multiple sources of information. Integrating input from multiple sources ensures a well-rounded and objective evaluation that reflects the perspective of the entire university community. The evaluation instrument was approved by this board in March 2024. A copy was provided to you in advance of the meeting and is visible on the screens in front of you. The assessment includes specific goals to be measured in 5 different categories. Okay. Thank you for making it large enough for old people. Increased first-time, full-time freshman enrollment from the prior year, and we increased 7.5 points. So increased new graduate enrollment from the prior year. He got all 15 points. We first-time full freshman increased 1.7%. Fall of 2024 versus we had 4.3. So obviously we had a great increase on that. So we got all 15 points. Next category. Graduation rate. Increase in the official graduation rate from the prior year. In 22-23, the graduation rate was 44.5%. 23-24, the graduation rate was 40.2%. So he did not get his 15 points on that particular category. Retention rate. It's in fall to fall retention rate from the prior year. Fall of 2022 to fall of 2023, retention rate was 65.89, and this year it increased to 66.14%. So he got 15 out of 15 possible points. Athletics. And 2 out of 3 must occur for full points, but 1 of 3 equals 7.5 points. Average of all athletic GPAs at 3.0 or higher, and all athletes average was 3.3%. Incredible. It's unbelievable. Win at least one conference championship. We did win the conference championship for baseball. Increase revenue from the prior year or receive a one-time large pledge equal to or greater to than the president's salary. So he got all 15 points out of 15 on presidential incentive plan there on athletics. Fundraising. Increase in fundraising compared to an average of 3-year priors, excluding athletic scholarships, sponsorships, and extraordinarily large gifts, or receive a one-time large gift or pledge equal to or greater than the president's salary. The foundation received a large gift greater than president's salary in the amount of $2 million. He scored 15 out of 15 on that. Next, we have discretionary points to be awarded by the Board of Trustees in consideration for overall performance. Leadership. On leadership, we had surveys. We had surveys from his 9 direct managers that answered to him. We had the Board of Trustees, and so when we went through those on his direct reports, he was just a little bit under what the Board of Trustees gave him a slam dunk all the way through. And so what I did is Carol gives me just averages. And I told her, I said, well, I don't want to see averages. And by the way, these are anonymous surveys, so you couldn't tell who said what. And so I asked to get all 9 separate surveys so I could take a look at them. And I noticed we had 7 people on the direct reports that were just gung-ho for Mike. And then we had 2 that weren't quite as. And as I looked through this, I thought to myself, you look at everything that's happened at Austin Peay and everything that Mike's been responsible for. Fastest growing university in Tennessee this year, 2nd fastest growing university in Tennessee last year, overall enrollment up 8.6%, first time freshmen up 17.4% since 2021, record graduate enrollment, record at Fort Campbell Center, state appropriations up 50%. Grant funding up 76%, 3 straight years of increased retention rates, and perfect accreditation for SAC-COC. No recommendations from SAC-COC at all for Austin Peay, anything that we had to improve, which I found incredible. College of Business, we have an accreditation visit next March, where our business department, College of Business, will be accredited. Guys, since I've been affiliated with Austin Peay, the last 20 years we've chased this, and this is something that's coming to fruition right now. He created a Division of Military and Veteran Affairs. We can go on and on, but my feeling is that, guys, we got a rock star in Dr. Mike Licari. When I called all of our local government officials, which is another thing that you do when you're evaluating the president. And I've got some comments here somewhere if I can find them. One of the mayors said, "Best president we've ever had at Austin Peay." Another comment, "I see him everywhere." Another one, "Does he ever miss a game or any other event?" He does everything right. That's overwhelmingly the response that I've got. And on one of his direct reports, I'd like to read the comment. "Among the top 3 leaders with whom I've served throughout my 40-plus year professional life, boldly decisive, gathers enough data to make a sound decision, but is not afraid to modify a course of action when additional information is presented that enables him to refine that decision. His passion for this institution, our students, is infectious. A dynamic practitioner of the principle of leadership by presence can always be found wherever our students are. A tireless champion of their activities. The antithesis of a micromanager, provides us mission-oriented, strategic guidance, and enables us to figure out how we can best implement it. Always eager to provide the resources we need within the university's means to accomplish our missions. A consummate team builder, a visionary leader who believes in reinforcing success, a especially in the recruiting and retention arenas. Highly respected by leaders in the community and the highest command levels at Fort Campbell. That is an incredible recommendation for somebody that reports directly to Dr. McCary. With all the, I've never seen a president that goes to recruit students as many places as Dr. McCary has. All over Tennessee, all over Kentucky, it just keeps going on and on. When I talked to the state legislature, they said that Mike and Carol just did a phenomenal job promoting Austin Peay. So based on that, it's my opinion that we need to award him all 25 out of 25 points on discretionary. So based on this information, I recommend that President Carr be awarded the maximum 25 discretionary points for a total of 85 points. Further, I move that the board award an 8.5% incentive in the amount of $34,000 to President LaCari for fiscal year 2024-2025. Is there a second?
Is there a second?
Excuse me. Is there a second? Okay.
It is moved and seconded that the board award an 8.5% incentive in the amount of $34,000 to President LaCari for fiscal year 24-25. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. The next action item is the consideration of the president's base compensation for the upcoming fiscal year 2025-26. Chairman Jenkins.
Information about the compensation of other Tennessee Public University presidents was provided to you in advance of this meeting and can be seen in the monitors. Based upon President LaCari's positive performance evaluation and in order to keep the president's salary commission and Tennessee LGI presidents, I move that President LaCari's base salary be set at $415,500. Now, if you look at Austin Peay, we increased him last year 2.9%. So if you take 2.9% of his salary for last year, that would be raise him to $415,500. And I'm looking at comparing him to UTC. Last year they raised their president from 409 to 422, and they have 1,300 more students than we have. Guys, I can tell you, we're all familiar with name, image, and likeness. Top dollars go to top talent, and top talent goes other places. And as I said, we have a rock star president, Mike LaCari. It's my opinion that we need to raise his base compensation to 8.9%, the same percentage we did last year, to $415,500. Is there a second? Excuse me, Mike.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's moved and seconded that President LaCari's base salary be set at $415,500 for the fiscal year 25-26. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next action item is the consideration of the president's performance evaluation and incentive plan for the upcoming year 25-26. Chairman Jenkins.
We're going to defer consideration of the next performance evaluation and incentive plan until the June board meeting. This will allow the incoming board chair to provide input into the next evaluation and incentive plan. While the evaluation criteria used for the past 2 years have been effective in assessing the president's performance, it's wise to periodically review and revise their criteria so they can continue to reflect the university's priorities and goals. It's my thought at this point that the pool of entering freshmen the next 5 years is going to be smaller than normal. And I think we need to reevaluate. You cannot continue to increase percentage-wise. At some point, you can't increase any further. And I think we need to look at that. And the other thing I think we need to look at on his performance evaluation incentive plan is that we need to come up with some kind of long-term contract to keep Dr. McCary here at Jenkins. Sorry.
So you're recruiting Dr. Licari.
Yes. As I said, he has got to be in high demand by so many universities with the performance that he has here at Austin Peay. And we need to make sure that Dr. Mike Licari can retire here at Austin Peay. And I think those things need to be considered by the next chair.
Thank you, Chairman Jenkins. Please invite Dr. Licari back to the room. And Chairman Jenkins, I return the gavel to you, sir.
Thank you. Back, Dr. Thank you. The next item of business is to accept nominations for board chair to be forwarded to the board for consideration. Do I hear a nomination for board chair to serve starting July 1st, 2025?
I would like to nominate our current vice chairman, Michael Malley, as chairman of the board of trustees.
Are there any other nominations for board chair? Hearing none, is there any discussion on the nomination? Well, I would like to say, first of all, that Mike was on the committee that picked Dr. Licari to be president of Austin Peay. And Mike was board chair at that point, and about the time that Dr. Licari came on, Mike left. And this incredible facility that we're in right now was from the O'Malley family. And I cannot think of anybody that would be any more qualified and more eager to serve as chairman of this board. It's such an honor to serve as chairman of this board, and I heartily enjoy it.
Thank you, Don.
Okay. Hearing no further discussion, the motion on the floor is to nominate trustee Michael Malley as chair and to forward this nomination to full board for consideration. All those in favor of forwarding trustee O'Malley as a nominee for board chair, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. The ayes have it, and trustee O'Malley will be forwarded to the board for consideration on the next chair. This concludes our agenda items, and I skipped a page here. The final term of business for the committee is to accept nominations for the board vice chair to be forwarded to the board for consideration. Do I hear a nomination for board vice chair to serve starting July 1st, 2025? Well, I would like to nominate Phil Rowe. I think Phil is a graduate of Austin Peay, and he is obviously very well connected. He has a very honored career as a doctor, and he also has done a phenomenal job in the state legislature, and I think he would be an excellent vice chair for Mark. Are there any further nominations? Okay. Hearing none, further discussion on the motion on the floor to nominate trustee Phil Rowe, serve as vice chair. Okay, all those in favor of forwarding trustee Rowe as a nominee for board vice chair, please signify by saying aye. 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 All opposed? The ayes have it, and trustee Rowe will be forwarded to the board for consideration as board vice chair. The other thing I'd like to say in this is that I think it's traditional on boards that if you have a board chairman and then you have a vice chairman, and then traditionally the vice chair moves up to chairman's position. It's a little bit more complicated with the board of trustees because we're all serving on terms. And I know when we had the initial boards, some people served 2 years, 4 years, 6 years. But I think it's an excellent agenda if our vice chair then becomes the next chairman. And I'd just like to point out that I think that would be a good practice for this board to have. So this concludes our agenda items, and I move that the meeting adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Second.
It's moved and seconded, those meetings adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.